thing about me is that the sun will always try and locate me. It's like she's just too hot, too beautiful, too gorgeous, too damn good and precious for this world for the sun not to try and locate me. And I'm not trying to be a shade darker. So we always try and spend. Do you see? I don't know if it gives sun-kissed, but like I'm trying to make a video for BookTube. Hold on a sec while I try and locate the right type of lighting. I think it's cute here, besties. Do you agree? Hi, festivals. Welcome to Kush's Corner. I'm gonna speak. Today's video is gonna be about the books that I read in February. So it's like our February reading wrap up. Get pumped. Let's get physical. Also, the location and me sitting on the grass today literally feels like it's in the jungle, the mighty jungle. The lion sleeps tonight. But we're not gonna stay outside the whole time because I do feel like the sounds of outside are going to distort the video to my liking and make editing a nightmare. So I just want to show you guys like what I'm currently wearing, and then I'm gonna go make myself a little cup of coffee. We're gonna talk about the 11 books that I read this month, and this is my current beverage, but I want coffee because what beer does not love coffee. And then I'll show you my outfit of the day. It's very basic but makes me feel cute, makes me feel like I'm a boss babe, glorious and fantastic. And then yeah, we'll talk about all the books that I read, if I enjoyed them, do I recommend them, and like that's how we'll go into it. So let's get into it, festivals. I'll always be fighting for my lives for these OTDs. I couldn't find the angle, so just bear with me. If it doesn't look good, mind your business. It looked good and I look like a boss babe. What? Okay, let's go in the house. The thing about me is like they always make the sugar like container so hard to pour into the thingy, like so hard to open. I'm gonna not show you how many sugars I put. I want you guys to guess, but if your answer is short of 3, that's so wrong. It's more than that. I have a sweet tooth. Okay, I was gonna show you guys how I make my coffee, but like you can look at my other video, but I think I've perfected it in a way that makes so much sense now, that makes it feel like I'm drinking a cappuccino and I don't even have a frother at home. Mix here. I have to like shoot this video really quickly though because I do have to cook dinner, and I'm thinking chicken gizzards. Do you see it's the inside of a chicken. It's the inside of a chicken. So those are literally the vibes. Hold for the video. I'm gonna show you the trick, right? If you want like your milk to be a little bit frothy, right, but you don't have a frother, just shake the milk. I can already feel that it's frothed, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like when it's done. It may or may not look basic and didn't turn out how it was turning out yesterday. That's not my business, okay? It literally evaporated. I won't even show you how it looks. It doesn't look frothy anymore. But let me taste. I'd have mercy. And then me like a kid. Let's get into this wrap up now. This weather can't make up its mind. I'm telling you, it was so cold. I'm in the house now and it's now so hot and I'm drinking a hot beverage. I was like, I could have made an iced coffee had I figured this out. I could just throw some ice cubes in it, but I'm just like, I'm already dedicated to this. So I read 148 books last year, right? And I just felt like I also had like a monthly TBR every month, and I just feel like that put so much pressure on me that it actually even started taking the joy from reading away from me, and also kind of put me in huge like reading slumps. I just felt like it was just too much pressure on myself. Nobody made me do this. I just did it for myself. I thought it would like keep me grounded and focused. If anything, it just made me skew off track. So this year I decided not to have any reading goals of like how many books I want to read this month. I don't do a monthly TBR. I literally just go with the vibes are immaculate. I let my mood reader thrive basically. And in January it was very successful. I think I read 16 books. Most of those books were like above 4 stars. And now we're in February. I was going through a lot, I guess, and not like I just feel like my emotions were out of whack and I was feeling crappy most of the month. I think there were only 5 days in the month where I was feeling fantastic. But yeah, I read 11 books and I want us to get into it, and I'll give you a little bit of the premise, whether you should read it, and yeah, those are the vibes. I will make a video about what my bookish goals for this year in terms of like how I try to my new approach to like reading for this year. So let's get into it. You know how everyone has like those authors that are like auto-buy authors for them, almost to a point where you're like fight to the death to defend this author because you just love their works so much. For me, that author is Kristen Ashley. She has written some of my favorite series in the entire world: the Colorado Mountain series, the Berg series, the Mystery Man series, the Rock Chick series. When I say her books give the right amount of suspense, she knows how to write alpha males, she knows how to write boss babe FMCs, and just great storylines and plot lines that have like great found family aspects that I am completely enthralled in, to the point that these books are just so nostalgic to me that they'll forever always be 5-star reads to me, that I always continuously revisit when I'm in a slump. So I started the month of February with a bang, and I read Avenging Angel, right, by Kristen Ashley. I give it 3.7 stars. I think it was a great start and introduction to the series. It's a spin-off from the Nightingale Rock Chick series, so I do suggest you read that series first before you jump into this one, or else you can actually read it without the knowledge of the other things, because they will like give you a brief history of it. But I think you'll enjoy it more having visited her other books and read her other works, because the characters kind of intertwine and revisit each other. And when I say this book gave what it needed to give, we follow the story of Rachel. Rachel basically had her sister. Her sister was kidnapped when she was very young, so they've never really found her sister. I think she went missing for a long time. Yes, they never found her sister, and basically her family basically crumbled, and her mom basically ended up committing suicide, and her dad lost himself, and she basically, when she got of age, she just like went away from home. She's like, I can't live with a man who can't see that he still has a daughter, that he didn't just lose like one child, he has another child who's still alive. And she basically makes a new life for herself. She was like as a barista at this like coffee house and things. She earns a really good amount of money, and she basically has become kind of like a vigilante, and she goes around trying to like rescue kids or people who are in dangerous situations. And through that, one of the missions that she does while trying to rescue someone, she ends up meeting Jillian, who is like he's part of like this PI kind of macho man, Captain Policey kind of precinct that is starting in the town that she's living in right now. And he's starting this like branch, so he's the head of it, and basically he's trying to like, he's on this mission to save this child. But Rachel, being the prospect that she is, who doesn't want to wait for the police, is already trying to save this child. So they meet, that's like they meet cute, and they end up like getting into a relationship and all those vibes. I don't want to spoil the thing for you, because I think the suspense and the part of the storyline is good when you don't know what's going on. So I would recommend reading this book. I gave it 3.7 stars because I just thought it was too good. I enjoyed the world. It was funny, captivating. I love the found family, the sisterhood, the brotherhood, the friendship, the community within it, and I would say yes. But I think for most people, they would land on a maybe. You know anything about me, you know I really love a second chance romance, and I do actually love the shocker, I love the like surprise pregnancy, secret baby trope, accidental pregnancy. I love it. It feels like reading a happily ever after to me. So the next book that I read was The Way We Score by Tia Louise. I gave it 2.7 stars. Unfortunately, besties, this book did not scratch the itch for me. This book did not go down as one of the best like pregnancy romances that I've ever read. It was just not giving. The second chance romance was not giving the way I need to. I feel like the reason they broke up was very valid. I feel like the guy was very insecure and very selfish in wanting her to live her whole life wanting to be for him, like, because they were like high school sweethearts, and then he thought they were going to go to the same college, and she had a dream of becoming a dancer, so she wanted to go to her dream college. He didn't understand it. He didn't kick that. They ended up doing like long distance. He just couldn't handle the fact that she was not by him. He's a football player, and basically their relationship fumbled and all those things. Years later, she married somebody else, and her marriage ended up falling apart because she could not get pregnant. They had fertility struggles, and then surprise, surprise, she goes back to her hometown for her ex-boyfriend's little sister's wedding, and they end up having one night stand, and she gets pregnant, and now they're finding their way back into being with each other and loving each other. For me, the story is a no. I don't think I would read it again. I'm sorry. No. This is a clear case of you are not meant to be together. You are literally not be together, and having a child is not going to fix your relationship. You guys are just not the right fit for each other. Like, I love feeling like people are meant to be together, but they are just not meant to be together. I'm just so sorry. Like, no, the guy, I felt like he was just not it. He was not book husband worthy, book boyfriend worthy, book crush worthy, nothing. So no, please do not read this book. Maybe it's for you, but it was not my cup of tea. I read Wolf by Paisley Wolf. I gave it 4 stars. I think the vibes of the first 2 books that I read for the month were immaculate. I won't even lie. This book was very spicy time. It was Spice Town. And I'm not afraid to say it, I ate it up. If you don't like smut, this is not the book for you. When I say there's not much plot going on, basically we follow a motorcycle club leader who feels like, I don't believe in love, it's not meant for me, traumatic, all this girl, and this girl, the FMC, who basically was raised religious, who is just like a prude. Basically, she is so judgmental. She is so judgmental. She was so insufferable. She was so insufferable. And then slowly she starts like falling for him. She doesn't understand why she's falling for him. Why did I read this book? I don't know. But the vibes were immaculate, and I remember enjoying this book thoroughly. I like when her opinion started to change. She started to like stop being a prude and like literally was giving into her desires. I was like, yeah, girl, we knew you were a freak under the sheets. We knew you were a freak. But if this is not for you, this is not for you if you don't like spicy times. It's a little bit of a dark romancy, but I just feel like it didn't have enough gang elements for my vibes, like, or motorcycle elements, because it's like a motorcycle club president. I would give this book a maybe. I think it's good if you're looking for an in-between book, like you're looking for something fast-paced, something to just get you out of reading slump, or just something different, then it's good for you. But I don't think it's something I will revisit for a good time, if you know what I mean. Then I read The Blind Side by Candy Steiner. I gave it 2.5 stars. This was a reread for me. Every month I like to go and reread a book that I read. I read this book I think 3 years ago. I remember it being like the rave on TikTok, and I remember thoroughly enjoying it then. I came back to it. My opinions and my life has since thus changed, and that's the fake dating trope no longer does it for me, Bastables. I feel like the fake dating trope, there is never a good enough reason for them to be fake dating. Let me tell you that. And this one, it was a sports romance. It was basically she's a virgin and he gives her lessons, opposites attract, they help each other. Like, he's hung up on his ex, he wants to still be with her, she has a crush on another guy, they like do like a mutual contract to kind of help each other out, and then they end up falling in love. Typical story. NFL, he's a football player, whatever. Yeah, I don't know, when I was reading it now, I could not see the appeal to the book. I don't understand. I did not enjoy it. I was just like, no. I was just like, no. What was I enjoying from this? I was like, what was I enjoying from this? I was like, there were so many moments where I was like waiting for the FMC to be like, to step into herself and be like, demand. Like, she was just so timid and just like accepting of the things that he would put out and say for her. Like, no, you need to do this. Okay. Like a sheep. Like, he's the shepherd and she's the sheep. I said, no. They're the type of couple that I don't think would last. Their marriage would get a divorce. They would get a divorce real quick. No. I do not recommend reading this book. It was not for me. I just feel like I've maybe elevated in my sports romance vibes, and this was just not it for me. Unfortunately, I am that type of person that it takes a lot for me to remember the plot of a book if it was not memorable. The next book that I read was Before I Loved You by Ashley Elizabeth. It's an accidental pregnancy trope. I was trying to find the right one this month, right? And I gave it 3.5 stars, I believe. 3 stars or 3.5 stars? One of the two. And it's one of those things, one night stand again, Bastables. One night stand. And we find, yeah, the FMC has gone through a traumatic past where she basically had to rely on herself the whole time as she's been like growing up and living, and she ends up having, surprise, a one night stand with the basketball captain or whatever. But because she's kind of always been, let me not even try getting to the plot of this book because I don't even remember it. I can't remember it that much. I just remember there was dark elements and dark themes. Like I did read those content warnings. I would say this book, no, it's a no for me. I don't think I would revisit it. Yes, so I don't know what to say to you guys. I don't know what you're expecting me to say, but when I read it, I enjoyed it. When I think back on it, I didn't. See, take that as you want. This one I have words. I have so many words. Got me so mad. I even went to my Fable account and wrote a whole long ass review because I was just like, ain't no way you can do it. I hate it when authors create a series that you've been enjoying from start to finish, and when it finally gets to the last book, they ruin the plot completely. I read My Dog Prince by L.G. Shen and Parker S. Huntington, and I rated it 2.5 stars. My Dog Romeo, My Dog Desire were all 4 to 5 star books for me, and this book was 2.5 stars. Do the calculations, do the math, and make your deductions. I was so mad at this, especially because this is like a fairy tale retelling, and this was a Sleeping Beauty retelling. I kid you not, the FMC was insufferable. I feel like they were like childhood lovers or whatever, and then an accident happened that forced like the male character to like break up with her, and he never told her why and all those things. But ironically, the night before, they had just had ziki high spicy times, so now she felt like she was being used and all these things, and she has like the worst of the worst parents, like trash parents, and he was like her only family and everything. I think her name was Fallon, and she ends up like rebuilding herself, making a life for herself and all these things, and then years later they end up bumping into each other. She gets into an accident, she ends up having amnesia, she thinks that they're together, that they didn't ever have a breakup and all those things, and the doctors all say that, you know what, you can't tell her the truth because like her brain is really fragile at the moment, you know, she has amnesia. And usually I eat the amnesia trope up. If there's someone who likes amnesia, it's me. It's me. I love it. But this was a book showing how you do it completely wrong, and this was all based on the Sleeping Beauty trope, the Sleeping Beauty fairy tale, and they failed abysmally. Because why do I feel like she had no grounds? I hate it when a book makes me hate on the girl. She had no grounds to be upset at him. She had no grounds to want revenge on him, to want to treat him like horrible, like trash, because the things that he went through, what his family went through, if anything, he's the one who suffered the most in their years apart, because she would have never become who she was now without him having breaking up with her. He literally let her go so that she could flourish, and he was literally living a life of, like, he was just so miserable. He was basically contemplating, he was waiting for his death. It made me so mad, Bestables. It made me so mad. It made me so mad. Oh my goodness. The miscommunication of this trope was, how do you wait like 13 years to get the answers that you want? I get that when you guys broke up, you were 18. Okay, fine. You went to college, you started life. You started living your life and doing all these things. If this relationship was still plaguing you, you're telling me not once did you garner up the courage to go and ask him what the hell happened. And now when you find it with him, you still want to hold up. Oh my goodness. Oh, I can't even speak about this book because it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. No, I do not recommend this book. I do not recommend this book. I could go into it more, but it aggravates me, and I don't want to have high blood. Please. No, do not read My Dog Prince. No. That I read was Forever Starts Tonight by Carla Sorensen, and I gave it 3 stars. It was an accidental pregnancy trope. It was like she's been pining over him for years. He also pined over her, but he's like, she's the best friend's sister, so he's always felt like she's off limits. One day she ends up saying, you know what, I can't move on with my life if I don't figure out why he's never wanted me. I'm gonna go and be brazy, and I'm going to like throw myself at him and basically make him want me. We have our wonderful night. I wake up months later, bam, pregnant. Yeah. Again, another book I don't think I will be repeating, because purely to me, I honestly feel like it's no one's business who you love, even if it's your sibling. Like, what does it have to do with you? So my brother's best friend, best friends, little sister trope. It aggravates me because I'm just like, you are depriving yourself of a good time, of happiness, because you're right about your friend, what your friend is gonna say. And who either way, I felt like everybody in her family was treating him like nonsense, acting like this guy, this is someone that you've grown up with, and you're acting like this is the worst person ever. How dare he make your sister pregnant? Acting like she can't even make a choice for herself. Like, be for real. Be for real. Who gave you guys the liberty and the power to choose what I do with my life? You know, it made me upset in those ways, and I hate things like that. And I'm like, why you think this guy is someone who's been there for your family, done everything he can for your family, has literally been there for you guys in your worst moments, and you guys are treating him like he's the scum of the earth. And I do not appreciate that, and I just honestly do not appreciate any of you guys. Like, I don't appreciate that you guys are just forgiving like that. I'm not forgiving like that, so I will hold a grudge for you, and that's why I gave this book 3 stars. I will not be reading it again, because I do think if I read it again, the family will irritate the hell out of me again. As you can see, a lot of February was me having internalized battles with book characters, mainly the female characters, and writing very angry angry reviews that I feel like were really good, because it's important to discuss books that you did not enjoy, or aspects of books that you did not enjoy, and open up discussions about it. But yeah, my high blood, I almost passed out. I had to even stop after days after reading those 2 books that I just mentioned. I just sit and rewatch Stranger Things, because my heart was just not doing okay, if that makes sense. I read Fall Into You by J.T. Gessinger. I'm still waiting to find a book that thoroughly entertained me by this author. I gave it 2 stars. Quite frankly, I did not believe the relationship between the FMC and the MMC. I believe that the guy was literally, basically they had a hot and heavy night together before she ended up working with him. And this man ends up just, he's like the worst boss ever. He's honestly, he's just an asshole. Let's just be honest. He's literally, oh my goodness, insufferable. There's no reason for you to act like that. He was acting like a man child, throwing tantrums. This woman was basically always begging him to be with her, begging him to sleep with her. I said, ain't no way. Nothing will make me drop down the star rating of a book than seeing an FMC basically losing herself for a man like that, not understanding her worth. She was begging this man continuously to be with him, begging this man to listen to her, begging this man. No! Yo, Mudim. I'm getting a headache thinking about this. I'm getting a headache. I gave this book 2 stars. I do not recommend it. No. I don't even want to discuss it further. I hope that answers your question of whether you should read this or not. Now it'll put you in a good mood. A black romance book I read, and then This Life Was Beautiful by Asia Monique. 5 stars, I believe. 4 stars. Hold on, let me confirm that. Give it 4 stars, besties. Oh, this book, it was a reread for me. I hadn't realized I had read this book. Like, the whole time I was reading like chapter 1, 2, I was like, why do I feel like I've read this book before? And then I saw that I had annotated it and put commentary over it. Then I was just like, oh yeah, we've read this book. I remember how it plays out. But we follow the story. I can't remember their names. I'm so sorry. This is why I should make reviews immediately after they finish their books. But basically, the FMC and the MMC are in a relationship. They've never really put a label on their relationship. The MMC has gotten out of a long-term relationship before he's in this new relationship with this situationship, kind of like friends with benefits relationship with the FMC, because his previous relationship, she didn't want to have kids, so they ended the relationship because he always knew he wanted to be a father and a husband and all those things, and this woman was not going to give it to him, so they just ended amicably. And the current FMC basically just lost her mom, and she's just trying to navigate grief and all those things, right? So the book starts off with her finding out basically at her mom's funeral that she is pregnant. Yep. And she's like, but you know what, I know this man, I feel like this soul binding, intertwining, eternal, everlasting love with him, so I know it's gonna work out well. But then he finds out that, listen, he gets a call from his ex-girlfriend's mother saying, hey, you better get to the hospital. And he finds out that his ex is basically dead and that she just gave birth to his child, so she never told him about the child and everything. She was just gonna have the child and then drop the kid off at him. So the mom tells him, and then he ends up being a father overnight. So he's end up like navigating this thing, and now he feels like, oh my goodness, I can't have a relationship with the FMC because I'm gonna have to be a father. I have to put my all into raising this child. And then like, but just the way they understand each other. When I say these people communicate, they communicate. Like, she told him, like, listen, I'm pregnant, this is what's happening. The way that they were able to be there for each other, the way that she was able to reassure him in his new role as a father, the way that they were able to lean and depend on each other, the way that he supported her during her pregnancy, the way he leaned on her, the way he took care of her, the way she took care of him. 4 stars, besties. It was so good. Oh my goodness, it was so good. Oh, I love this book. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Asia Monique is slowly becoming one of my favorite black romance authors. She's just, oh, if you go read this book for besties. I don't even want to, if you don't read it, it's fine, that's your business, but I go read this book. It was just everything. I read Collide. Yep, 4.5 stars. This is a hockey romance book. Would this book typically feel like a copy and paste of a lot of hockey romance books? Yes, it might. Did I still eat it? Did I still eat it up? Did I still love it down? Yes, I did. Mind your business. It was everything. The vibes were immaculate, and I was thoroughly entertained. Thoroughly enjoyed this. We followed the story of Summer and Aiden. Summer is basically a psychology student, a sports psychology student, who has to write a thesis, basically on the sport hockey. She hates this sport due to her abandonment issues that she has with her father, who is a pro hockey player, but a retired pro hockey player. So she kind of avoids hockey like a plague. We meet Aiden. He's the captain of this hockey team at this university, and basically his hockey team has been reckless and behaving horribly, and he ends up taking the rap for them after they do a campus party that ends up getting out of hand. And basically his coach says, listen, someone needs a hockey team to interview, I'm gonna put you up to it. And he's like, listen, I could care less about her. They kind of give like off enemies to lovers, but more like, and not rivals, I'd say, but like, yeah, it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. They can't stand each other, but then they start to slowly overcome it and like be there for one another. I just love it. There was just so many times someone was teasing this man, and I was like, someone, listen, I can't take it. Stop teasing him. Go kiss him. Go be with him. Like, stop it. Why are you depriving Ian of a good time and of love? Like, don't do that. But it was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to read the next book in the series. I think it's going to be everything and more. I am kind of a little bit mad because the best friend in the story, hold on, give me a second to figure it out who's it following. His best friend, Aiden's best friend, his book is the next one. It already came out, right? When I'm not a broke book girly, I will buy the book. I want to read it physically. Elias, right? Eli. He was giving off like a love triangle vibe with one of someone's best friends, and I'm so mad because from what the next sneak peek gives, it's another girl. It's not giving love triangle vibes, and I'm just like, but why would you tease me like that? Why would you dangle a possible love triangle in this book, and in the second book I'm not reading a love triangle? Make that make sense. I know I said I don't like the love triangle trope because of Twilight, but I now do like it, and I was just like, you teased me and now I'm left wanting, and why would you do that to me? Why? Either way, this book was 4.5 stars. I think I gave it, why was there a point? Maybe the epilogue did not give me what I needed. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Epilogue. No, it did give what it needed to give. I think it was just like the push and pull, the angst and the tension. It was giving too much of a slow burn. I did not prepare myself to get a slow burn, but it was what I needed, and I loved it. Final book of the month. I ended on an odd number, 11. I read Seven of Hearts by Maggie Gates. She's she writes cowboy romances so good, and I said, ooh, accidental pregnancy trope, that's my fave, I'ma read it. It put me through a lot, vegetables. It put me through a lot. What did I rate this book? Hold on a second. I gave the book 3 stars, Seven of Hearts by Maggie Gates. you know what it is, I'm an empath reader, right? So if the main characters are very like antisocial people, not antisocial, more like they hate conflict, they hate disappointing people, they don't like confrontation, all those things. As someone who kind of has that personality type, I kind of lose my mind when I read those books because I actually end up feeling like the character itself. So I also get incredibly anxious, and it just raises my anxiety. So that's why I was having a little bit of like, ooh. I do want to say that the girl was pissing me off because because this guy, he had a traumatic kind of past, so he had this goal for himself that like, I don't want to make a mistake, I don't want to make a colossal mistake by the time I reach 30. Like, I want to have made it to the age of 30, having lived my life and being responsible. So obviously she gets pregnant before that milestone happens, and she basically, because her best friend, the FMC's best friend, is the sibling to this MMC, tells him about this goal. She was saying, you know, I'm not going to tell her I'm pregnant. Yeah, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what you think about the person who made you pregnant. It is their choice if they want to be involved or not. Don't take someone's choice away from them. That pisses me off immediately. Like, what do you mean you're gonna just raise this child by your own? And immediately, like, because his sister's a big mouth, he finds out that she's pregnant through the sister. So when he goes to ask her if this is true, because he does the math, tell me why this girl immediately is on him. She's just like, I don't want a deadbeat father. I don't want someone who's not going to give my child 100%. You've had months. You've had 2.5 months to process your head around this. This man just found out, and you're giving him grief. You're giving him grief. What is this? What is this? You know, there was just so many moments where I was just like, no. And also when the sister found out that her best friend and the brother had like, he's the father of the child, I just felt like she was making it all about her. And I'm just like, girl, it's not about you. It's not about you. You better get your head out of your bums. Stop that. This is not about you. Stop making it about you. You have no right to be angry. Either way, they end up falling slowly in love. All the vibes. It worked out. I don't think I would read the book again, if I'm being honest. I don't think so. All in all, I'd say most of the books I've told you about, I don't think I would read it again. But it made for good conversations and debates with a lot of people online with my reviews. I won't lie, I was fighting the fandoms, I was fighting for my life. Because it's my opinion, why can't I say what I don't like? You can't just always go through life expecting to see good reviews about things. Guys, no. I will tussle and I will debate. If you're not willing to tussle with me, then don't comment on my reviews. You know the vibes. Yeah, but that was basically my February wrap up. I feel like all in all it's a good month. You know, I feel like I got to see, it was like an okay month. You know, some books were good, some books were not, but mostly when I was in the books, the vibes were immaculate. So I can't even front. I know some of you are like, why did you just DNF? Because when I was reading at the books had me captivated. I wanted to see the end. That's why. But yeah, that was my February wrap up. Match, as you guys already know from my previous video, before this one, has already been a chef's kiss. I am reading a current series right now that is eating down, and my most anticipated read, Promise Me Sunshine, just came out today. So I'm very excited to read the book this month. And yeah, that is it from me. Let me know what books you read. Let me know if you've read the books that I've just described and what you thought of them. And yeah, that is it for me. Love and light, festivals. Cheers.